All right, so there's a lot of people that want to give me advice, tell me what to do, order me around, as if that's going to work. See, that's something that I noticed while I was helping people, is that for the most part, people know what help they need. Now, when you're called mentally ill, as soon as somebody finds out you're autistic, you fall under that category. You're no longer worth listening to. You're no longer a human being. Same thing with becoming homeless. You're not a human being to the people in this country anymore when you're homeless. Now, over in Ukraine, we've got a lot of countries now that are giving unrestricted access to Ukrainian refugees. What about American refugees? These war crimes that Putin is claiming, you know what? There are war crimes that have been committed by the United States against its own citizens. Exactly the same stuff that Russia is talking about. But you pretend it couldn't happen here. It wouldn't happen here. We have democracy. We have democracy. Like hell we do. There's a single engine airplane flying overhead. Where I'm at, I've actually gotten to see some pretty cool helicopters. I got to see a Chinook about 2 weeks ago, and a couple of days ago, I got to see four AH-64 Apaches. They were flying east over the Columbia River. I really like helicopters and a lot of the modern technology and a lot of the newer stuff that's coming out. But what's this video about? Well, it's about the fact that a lot of people want to tell me what to do that don't got any clue what's going on. There was a fella earlier who typed to me, there's a lady I know who went missing, and I came here to help her out, and when I got here, that's when I discovered she was missing. Well, I was able to find her, and I went and saw her yesterday. A lot of the people that I knew that went missing, most of them were found safely, or relatively safely. Some of them were found in places that no human being should have to go. Some of them were found dead. This guy who calls himself Burger Boy, he's a troll for the most part. He's also a video gamer, which explains why he likes to troll. There's a group of about 6 or 7 trolls that are video gamers, and they like to talk trash while they're live streaming on their video game. Anyway, he types, "Stop helping find people and get your life in order." Oh, yeah, that's real helpful. You know, when you want to give advice and distribute advice, but you want to make it generalized like that, that's not advice. That's just a fucking pretty meme. Get your life in order. Get your life in order. That's like saying you need to get right with God. Holy hell. You've opened your mouth and said absolutely nothing at that point. I'm not going to stop helping find people, especially if they're people that I know. You telling me to be someone other than who I am just doesn't work. You believing that I should have the same set of moral standards that you do, well, I've seen your moral standards. And no, I'm not going to follow those moral standards. The rules need to be the same for everybody. A lot of people say, "Oh, Sean, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite because you did this or you did that." I'm like, I was told that it's not illegal for people to do those things to me. Of course, it's illegal for me to do those things. It's just not illegal for others. And why is that? Because I was called mentally ill. And when you're called mentally ill, you need a guardian. You need somebody to be there and present who actually gives a shit about you. A state appointed guardian is not the same thing. That's a state worker. They're not going to stand up to the government. They work for the government. Now, there's a lot of stuff like this where people want to give me advice. They don't want to bother with looking into what's going on. They don't want to look at any of the situation. Let me explain it like this. Let's say you're disabled. Let's say you don't have any legs and you need a wheelchair. So, your friends want to give you advice. They all want to tell you, hey, man, there's a 100-meter hurdle race. If you win the race, you'll be able to buy yourself a wheelchair with the prize money. If you could jump hurdles, you wouldn't need the fucking wheelchair, dumbass. That's where somebody with no legs is actually kind of lucky. You can see their disabilities before you tell them something stupid. Like, if you jump the high hurdles, you do the 100-meter high hurdles. If you win the race, you get enough money for a wheelchair. If you can see their disabilities, you're not going to say stupid shit like that, or at least you would hope that you would have the common sense not to say something like that. But when it comes to disabilities that you cannot see, you make zero effort to understand. But you also show that you understand fully by taking advantage of those disabilities. Obviously, you're aware of them. If you're taking advantage of it, you are aware of it. The police do this often. They're taught how to twist, warp, and manipulate things into something that they're not. And you get to see that with every single officer. When you compare what they said to the actual evidence shows that every one of these officers lied. But then again, how do I get that into court? Now, Rebecca, the lady up here who was missing that I helped to find, she's got some stuff that she wanted to take care of and she needed help. Same as I need help. Hopefully, I'll be able to help her out. That's what I'm here for. I'm also not stopping trying to help myself out. It's not like I quit trying to get the help that I need. But then when you've got these people who hear the word mentally ill, they just assume what help you need. You need mental help, you need therapy, and you need medications. Isn't that right? They want to accuse every homeless person of being on drugs, and then their solution is to put you on drugs. That's fucking smart. Jesus, where did these people to go to college? You get a better education on the streets. You get a better education on what those drugs really, truly, actually do. Then you've got the parents who don't want their kids to be kids. They want their kids to be zombies. They put them on that fucking Ritalin. And what happens? Them kids either get way super hyper or they get zombied out. Start turning pale, get dark lines under their eyes, don't look like they're ever sleeping enough. They are basically zombies. And we've got the wrong people in control of it. We've got schools telling people that, yeah, your kid can't come back to school until they're on Ritalin. How fucked up is that? A teacher and a principal do not have the right to tell you what to put into your fucking kids. Now, that's one of the issues that I had with the cops. The cops do not have the right nor place to diagnose anyone as schizophrenic or bipolar or anything even close to any of that. They're police officers. So the police officers use the medical community to get away with the crimes that they're committing by telling these people in the medical community that I'm schizophrenic. And also by removing me from the evidence that shows that I'm telling the truth. So then what they're doing in every single one of these situations is making it their word versus mine. Every single one of them. And I don't have any real help doing anything about it. It's a very complicated situation. Now then you've got the fact that, well, no matter where you go, you still have to deal with people, whether you like them or not, whether you get along with people or not. Now, one of the things with having a disability like autism is you do something called stimming. A lot of times that's working with your hands. Now, when you do that, a lot of officers are trained to just assume that you're on methamphetamines, and they treat you that way. Now, one of the situations with me having Tourette syndrome on top of that, I do this winky blinky thing with my eyes, and then I do this thing with my wrists. And of course, that's weirdness that people don't want to see. You look at every Hollywood serial killer and super psycho, and they got some sort of a weird twitch, just like somebody with Tourette syndrome. And then you have to deal with people's assumption because they saw on a Hollywood movie, like, no, that's not how it is in real life. But most people can't differentiate real life from Hollywood. And that's terrible. It's kind of like when these people start telling me they're alien conspiracies. You're like, this person's got it pretty well together. And then they start talking about their alien conspiracies. Oh my God. Aliens don't give a fuck about us. They don't. If there's aliens out there, chances are pretty good that they're microbial organisms. If there's advanced life out there, what could they possibly want on this planet? Maybe our resources, but they've got no need for us. They're not trying to use some special brain ray to make us think a certain way. Why would they need to? So there's a lot of people who would seem otherwise sane that as soon as you start listening to them talk, they start either going off on alien conspiracies, or it's the Illuminati, or some other crazy shit like that. Man, I gotta tell you, listening to people talk about aliens and the Illuminati, that makes them a lot more crazy to somebody like me than somebody being autistic, somebody having extra energy. And kids all have extra energy. Oh, I did not get that fixed. Fuck it. My door on my car is broken. So I gotta fidget with the handle outside so it'll stay closed. Just one of those things that happens when you got an old vehicle. Now, people want their ideas to be the one that fixes it. They don't want to listen to what the problem is, so their solutions are not going to be that great. Kind of like the metaphor I made about the man who's got diabetes. And if he doesn't get these special shoes in the next 2 weeks, they're going to have to amputate his feet. So his friends ignore him for 6 months. And then one of them brings him that pair of shoes. It's 6 months after he's had his feet amputated, and his friend shows up with these special shoes and is pissed off that he won't put them on. He doesn't have any fucking feet to put the shoes on anymore. You wasted time, and the solution that you have is not going to work anymore. It's not going to work. Getting him those special shoes 6 months after they've amputated his feet does absolutely no good. I needed someone to go in with me before Natalie was killed so that I could turn in what was fucking going on. Here it is 5 years later. I have taken so much abuse. I have been forced into homelessness. I have been forced into fucking horrible quantities of poverty, spending all of my money trying to get somewhere safe. But because I don't have enough money to take care of myself, there is no safe place. I have to be subservient to people who want to treat me like I'm retarded, especially when they're on drugs and especially when they're on alcohol. There's one guy, I believe his last name is Keats, and he sent me a friend request, and he keeps telling me he wants to help me and he wants to send me some money, and he's only got one way that he's able to send me money. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with any of this. He calls me up when he's drunk and tells me he wants to send me money over PayPal. Well, that's not going to work. You can send me money to Walmart MoneyGram. I can go pick it up at a Walmart. But no, I can't get the PayPal thing to work. Now, with this guy, the major issue is that he's calling me up when he's drunk and he's making the same suggestion for an entire hour straight. And yeah, I do record it. Like, fuck, you know? And you've gotten to hear, not just from me, but out of the horse's own mouths. It's not just me saying that I had to stay with drug dealers and with alcoholics and with meth addicts. It's the fact that, yes, I actually did, and by their own words. The recordings that I have made prove that I told the truth every step of the way. But it didn't make any difference, did it? That's where that term mentally ill comes in. You call somebody mentally ill and it's magically okay. Another metaphor I use is the one with the sailor. He's been a sailor his whole life. He knows what scurvy is. So he goes to his friend. His friend's got an orange grove. Hey man, it's all right if I get a couple oranges? I got scurvy. Are you sure you got scurvy? Well, yeah, I've been out on the ocean and haven't had access to any ascorbic acid. Yeah, I'm certain. You know, I got scurvy. And your friend, he's got oranges right there. Probably even got a fruit basket on the table. What you need is right fucking there. And it is so simple. He could pick it up and hand it to you or tell you, hey, it's all right if you grab an orange. That's what you need. But instead, he wants to give you 300 other ideas of traveling all the way around town to every other place except for right there where that fucking orange is that you need. You go to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, man, you got fucking scurvy. You need vitamin C. Aren't you friends with that guy who's got the oranges? Well, yes, I am, but he doesn't think I have scurvy. He wants to argue with me, thinks I just have a tummy ache and I need to gargle salt water. Or I need to go here, or I need to go there, or it's always someone else's job to help me. The government says it's my family's job to help me. My family says it's the government's job. A lot of you assume that because I have a penis, I should be able to take care of myself. My disabilities didn't magically go away just because I was born with a penis. That's not how it works. My back is fucked up whether I have a penis or not. My knees are both screwed up. My penis didn't screw my knees up. And a lot of people, they want to change the rules depending on who it is. Like, they want to blame me for Natalie's death. Like, you pushed her to do that. You pushed her to that. No, she pushed me to that. Her and her friends stalked me for an entire year before she was killed. There was a simple solution: a fucking mediator. Someone to sit down and talk to me and Natalie both and to mediate the fucking situation. I did everything that I could to try to find someone to mediate the situation. And guess what? What I got was stabbed in the fucking back by a bunch of goddamn junkies. Regardless of your opinion, I'm going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.